Hello YouTube. Tonight I'm going to answer a tag video, and the tag video comes from a lady named Ember Honeyraven. She has 7 questions that she's asking people within the craft community to answer, witches in particular. So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions. I thought they were interesting, so these are my answers. Her first question is, what's the biggest disaster spell-wise that you've done? Well, the only really disaster that I can think of is one time I was doing a ritual, and after the ritual, I blew out the candles. And I know some people out there are saying you should never blow candles out, doing a ritual or after a ritual, whatever. I don't subscribe to this. But anyway, doing this particular ritual, and this only happened to me one time, and this was by myself. I did this ritual, blew out the candle afterwards, and a lot of the wax got on my cloak. So that was the only big disaster that I can think of. I mean, there's been rituals where little quirky things happen, but nothing really big. That's the only really big one I can think of offhand, so there. Okay. Sorry, I got this fan on and it just keeps blowing my hair in my face. Alright. Second question is something you wish someone told you when you were a new witch. So what's something someone didn't tell you when you first got involved in the craft? Only thing I can say is there's no one right way. You don't have to listen to someone just because they have a little bit more knowledge than you. Do what's natural. Do what's natural. I think that sounds the best, and I think that's something that a lot of us learn when you first get involved in the craft. There's all these books out there that say, do it this way, do it that way, and basically I think that whatever feels right for you, you should do it. So that is a bit of advice I wish someone would have gave me when I first got involved in the craft, but it was no big deal. You learn, you live and you learn, and you keep doing something over and over again and practicing. It's just like guitar. You find your own way of doing things, and I mean, I don't want to say rules, but there are particular ways of doing things that I think a lot of people follow to a certain extent. But you find your own niche and your own way of expressing yourself that way. So I just wish that somebody would have kind of told me that, but it's no big deal. Okay, let's see. What is your biggest witchy pet peeve? And I would say fundamentalist witches. Or witches who believe that things have to be done a certain way, which goes back to the candle thing. Some people believe that you should never blow out a candle, which I think is complete crap. When I blow out a candle, I'm putting my intent into that candle and the smoke and the fire as it dissipates. So I don't subscribe to that. Sometimes I snuff out the candle. It depends on my mood. It depends on what type of spell I'm doing. So that's me. People who say things have to be done a certain way all the time, unless you're following a particular tradition, I think it's a bunch of crap. Now, if you're following a tradition, I can understand that. Something that's been done over and over again, and you're in the coven. I can kind of go along with that. But in your private practice, when someone says it has to be done this way, it's like, I don't subscribe to that. Okay. That was number 3. Number 4 is, When did you first know there was something different about your spirituality? And this kind of goes into two parts. When did you first know you were a witch? And when did you first know this was your path? I think I knew that there was something different about my spirituality back when I was going to church as a small child, and I just didn't buy into all the stuff they were telling me. I mean, to each his own. If the church is your thing, you know, more power to you. But it just didn't fit for me. I got bored at church. The only thing I kind of liked about church was Sunday school, believe it or not, because at least at Sunday school, they were trying to teach you something rather than preach to you. So I kind of like that. But all along, I just kind of felt that you know, there was something different about the way I looked at, you know, religion. When did I first When did I first know that I was a witch? I had an experience with an entity. I would say it was over 10 years ago, maybe like 15 or more plus years. And that entity gave me some type of initiation. And I think at that time, when that happened, I knew that I was a witch. I knew something was up. Because I never experienced anything like that before. So I would say that would be my first awakening as a witch. Let me see, what was the other part of this? When did you first know that this was your path? I think that all along I've been studying different religions, you know, Hinduism, you know, just different. You know, I started off interested in the new wave movement of the 80s, and, you know, progressed from there. But I think I really found my niche in witchcraft and knew that I was a witch when I just started studying it, and I just couldn't put down the books. I couldn't stop practicing. It was just something that felt so natural to me that I just had to keep going at it. So I think that was when I first knew that I was a witch. Sorry, this fan is blowing my hair like crazy. So, alright. Okay, what is this? Number 5. What is the best witchy book you've ever read? Now they have fiction and non-fiction. Fiction, I don't think I've really read, that I can think of. I don't think I've ever read any fiction that has to do with witchcraft that I can think of right off the bat. I guess that's bad in a way, right? I've always read, you know, non-fiction when it comes to the craft. But my favorite book is, and this is a book that some people told me don't read, or, you know, this isn't really the craft or whatever. It's by Paul Husson. It's called Mastering Witchcraft. This is an excellent book. Excellent book. This is not Wicca. This is witchcraft. This is old school witchcraft. And some people like the book. Some people don't like the book. I particularly like the book. This is not really a 101 book. It's a book that's a bit more meaty. It's a bit more truthful as far as I'm concerned. It's called Mastering Witchcraft, a practical guide for witches, warlocks, and covens. And he actually uses the word warlock here, which some witches don't like, which I don't understand. I mean, why can't a male witch be a warlock? It does not mean Oathbreak. I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to that. I go both ways. You know, if someone wants to call me a warlock, you know, more power to you, more power to me. You know, if someone calls me a witch, hey, you know, I'm a witch too. So I don't subscribe to what some what some witches say, that, you know, witches are not warlocks. Male witches are witches. You know, whatever. You know, for the most part, I still use the term witch. But, you know, if someone calls me a warlock, I'm not going to get all huffy or anything like that. Anyway, back to the list here. Let's see, what does she have next? Let's see. Your best witchy TV show or movie. What's the best one you've ever seen? Well, I did like The Craft. Some people didn't like that movie. I thought it was a bit realistic, because I think it does kind of touch on things that happened in high school when people first find out about the craft, and, you know, how people abuse it, and some people are natural witches, like that one girl, I forgot her name, that was playing in the craft. I think those type of things do happen. So I like the movie. I think my favorite movie that has to do, not necessarily about witchcraft, but it has to do with paganism, is The Wicker Man. Hands down. That is my absolute favorite. So, even though it's not necessarily about witchcraft, it's more along the lines of paganism, I would say that's still my favorite. Okay, she has, so that would be my movie. TV show, Bewitched, maybe. I kind of like the new Salem series that's out. Charmed was okay. I didn't take Charmed too seriously. I mean, it was cool. You know, the girls in Charms was you know, hot, so I watched it for that reason. But, you know, Bewitched probably. Bell, Book, and Candle is really good too. Check that out if you haven't seen that. That's an old movie. I think it came out in the 50s, late 50s, 60s. I would have to look at the credits, but I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You can get it on DVD. You can. All right. Let's see. Number 7. Have you ever doubted the craft? No. Well, for me, I want to rephrase this question. Have you ever doubted magic? No. I've seen too much in my life, experienced too much to doubt it. I think that a lot of times when I listen to people talk, I don't necessarily believe everything that comes out of their mouth. I've always understood that a lot of things that I've experienced personally, they're subjective. You know, I don't go out and tell the whole world, yeah, I did this ritual and this entity came and, you know, this happened and that happened, and no. It's subjective, at least as far as I'm concerned. But to me personally, I think it's real, and I've never doubted that, probably because I've had so many experiences. So no, I've never doubted the craft. It's always good to be a bit of a skeptic when things happen. You can't be too much of a skeptic though. You always have to be willing to lift the veil, so to speak, to see, you know, is this really real or is it just my imagination? Some people, I think, do it a little bit too much. Sometimes I listen to witches talk and it's like, do you really believe in magic, or is this just psychology to you, you know? It's something more to this, so that's what I believe. Like I said, I had too many personal experiences to say that this is just psychology, or, you know, this might not be real, or to really doubt it. Alright, so I believe I got through all 7 of these. So those are my answers. So send a video response. I'm tagging you if you're watching this and you make YouTube videos. Make a YouTube video about this also, and send it to Ember Honeyraven. I'm pretty sure she'll like the fact that you responded to her video. Alright, until next time, love is a law, and peace.